Sagittarius have the Eight of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles. A lot of you Sagittarius have very much so spiritually, mentally, and physically and emotionally checked that part of yourselves that needs to retaliate against another person when you feel like someone is trying to meddle with you or tinker with you or agitate you, basically. And you realize that the best thing for you to do is to be on the Eight of Pentacles, to continue to work on yourself, not just physically, right, financially, but also emotionally. Great. Because the Eight of Cups, a spiritually good space, because emotionally you've worked out the agitation. Because people will try to agitate you, especially in today's world where, movies like Scream exist, where, Scream exhibits, the culture of the time where people are doing more and more crazy things for attention, even criminal. That's what Scream is about. How you got people who do the most stuff for attention and put themselves in way of even going to jail just for attention. That's how desperate people are now to agitate and get attention and not work and, give people court cases and all types of stupid stuff. So now the Judgment and the Emperor is about the Judgment and the Emperor now, right, represents how, so because the Judgment and the Emperor is about people's huge egos and the idea that, people that you were trying to get to know basically telling lies about you. How it is that you're the worst person in the world, you're this, you're that, but none of that stuff is really true. But they're overplaying it. They're overdoing it, right? So people that you were trying to get to know, overdoing it. You're trash, you're this, you're that. And you, Sagittarius, are just like, okay. But what they don't seem to understand is they're overdoing it for themselves, which means that other people are like, I'm not hanging out with you. You're doing too much. You're doing way too much. You're doing way too much. Like that person that was walking around on TikTok, slapping people and stuff like this and twerking, slapping people, agitating people, talking about, oh, this is for such, put their hands on people. Like, that's like in the realm of that. Like, that's doing too much. Because the thing is that the judgment and the Emperor is about a superiority complex. And a lot of you Sagittarius are so thankful. The ones who understand what it is, a lot of you Sagittarius who understand, y'all are thankful that y'all do not have to live in that superiority, in that delusional superiority world where you think that nothing that you do is wrong. So now you actually navigate this world with some level of peace. Because people who are really down to earth, right? People who are real cool, calm, collected, down to earth, they're usually people who live in reality and understand what's going on, right? On a real ears to the ground perspective, where they're not living in a delusional world and trying to be highfalutin. You understand what I'm saying? So that's you Sagittarius right now, at this point in time. A lot of you have really checked yourselves, checked that ego enough to be able to manage it, because everyone has an ego, but you're able to manage it better. And a lot of you Sagittarius have just become more cool, cooler than what you used to be. Now, a lot of you Sagittarius are cool, but even more cooler now, to be able to really, from a down-to-earth perspective, see how a lot of people are really wilding out. And they're going to play a victim. But again, you're not doing anything because you're not looking for revenge. You're not looking to get back at people. So to see people really out here treating you with the disdain, it's just odd. You know what I mean? So the thing is that the devil is now about how you understand that that's what it is, because that's what time it is now. What time it is now is that people are looking for people are looking to get some money and attention, because that's the two most important things nowadays to a lot of people living in a delusional world: money and attention. People are looking to get money and attention, even by putting themselves in harm's way. They don't care how it is that they have to do it, even if it's delusional. So what will happen here is you Sagittarius have to understand that, and you do understand it. So what is it that you're doing? You're realizing that you're not going to get caught up with it, right? And you understand that that's what it is. It's in the details, right? The idea that people are trying to get you to agitate you, for you to be able to cause harm to yourself some sort of way by wilding out, making yourself look crazy. That way they can have you, they can put, take you to court and all this other type of stuff. And then you have the Empress, right? And the Empress now represents how, so you Sagittarius understanding this, now you will approach from you Sagittarius will approach from a better perspective. And what I mean when I say you'll approach from a better perspective, you understand this now, because part of the protection, part of the approaching, part of how to date is to understand that some people are out here really wilding out, and then there's really nothing that you really can say. They're just bent on making themselves look stupid and ridiculous as much as possible. That's really it. Because at the end of the day, you will watch it how people will make a complete, I won't say fool. You'll watch it how people will make a complete idiot out of themselves, because they will do everything that they possibly can to be on the Judgment and the Emperor. You're not playing games with them. You're being, again, cool, calm, collected, right? And like they are just going out of their, like they doing so, it's like if they were a ship, they went from domestic waters to international waters, if you know what I mean. That's how far they're going with it. They're going so far out there, and you Sagittarius are watching a lot of these people lose their freaking mind, because you're just trying to date. And if they really wasn't interested, that's all it is that they had to say. It didn't have to be this nonsense. So the Star card now is about how, if that's the case, this is really about how you're looking for someone to find that would be a better fit. But a lot of you Sagittarius are way more aware now. And the Ace of Swords and the Sun card is about how, you have other people that you can get to know, or you will approach other people, right? More so specifically. And you'll give them a try and see if it works with them. So let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify the Sun. The Seven of Swords, the Judgment, the Justice, sorry about that, the Temperance, the Moon. The Seven of Swords and the Justice to clarify the Sun card. The Seven of Swords is about, and if they're not sincere, you will see that and you won't talk to them. And they will essentially, they won't really find what it is that they're looking for, right? Because like it is that I said before, people who play games, they don't really find what they're looking for. Not really. Because the truth is that people who play games don't really want to admit that they're losing their sanity. That's really what it is. Because the truth is, no matter what happens, they're not going to be happy no matter what. Because that's the whole stick. They put unrealistic desires on other people to have, and that's the whole thing. They do that. They live their whole life doing that. So they're going to do the very same thing. Even when a person is good enough, they're going to continue to do that. They're going to continue to price themselves into the ionosphere, out of the planet. So the thing is that, and that's the con. That's the con in playing games. The fact that you play games so much you don't know when to stop, and that the lines are blurry because there are no lines. You have to create them. You have to create those hard lines. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Creating those hard lines means that there's generally a limitation on how far a person will go. But when you have people out here who put so much power into playing games, because Sagittarius, you really don't understand how much people really put an emphasis and importance on playing games. People think that playing games will bring them to the promised land of what they want, right? This will bring them to a better relationship because I need to play games because games is what works. Meanwhile, no, it doesn't. Factually, it doesn't. It never does. Because what the games will do is, playing the games will have you misappropriate every single person that would have been good enough. Because not everybody's out here with a chain around their neck made of yarn and a sign that says, I'm rich, I'm successful, I'm emotionally literate, right? You have to actually get to know people in order to understand that. And the justice represents when they're doing too much, they will find that out in time. Because people who also like to play games, my dear Sagittarii or Sagittarius, they don't like to examine or review the past because it's about continuing to move forward, supposedly, even though they're really not doing that. So the Temperance now, which is Sagittarius, so you showed up in your own reading, and the Moon is about how, so you realize that is the best policy though, if it doesn't work. But if it does work, you'll continue to know them. That's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe. Overall, you Sagittarius are very much so on the correct. That's my cat. You Sagittarius are very much so on the correct path. And don't let anything discourage you. I really see that a lot of you are really on the correct path. And you're doing great. Peace.